DoseofUncommon. I'm Shera.Shim.
I'm Bill Nealon. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can find us anywhere where your podcasts are shown.
Yes. Now, let's just jump right into it. Bill, what did you think of Equalizer 3?
Oh, man, I've been waiting for like months.
I know.
When I saw that first trailer, I called Shera and said, guess what's coming September 1st?
Yeah, this was like June.
Yeah. And we both jumped on it. Shera lives about an hour from me.
Yeah.
But we both went to the theater and saw it, and it met all the expectations and then some.
Equalizer comes out actually tomorrow, but tonight is premiere night. And Bill and I are going to see it today.
Much anticipated, highly acclaimed Equalizer 3.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. So come with us, and by the end of the movie, we're going to let you know if it's good or not. But it's Denzel, so of course it's going to be good. Of course. Why not?
That's a given. Yeah.
Well, movie's over. And what do we think?
Two satisfied customers.
Really loved it. There's some few questions towards the end. You guys will see once you watch it. But it's really good. It's Denzel outdid himself. And what were you saying about him, Bill?
He's starting to show his age a little bit, as we all are.
Uh-huh.
But he's still charismatic, magnetic, a superstar.
Yeah, he's just...
He hasn't lost anything.
Yeah, he's good. Well, we can't give away the whole movie, but we have to say, you must go and see it, okay? Please. And let us know what you think, because we loved it.
We give it a thumbs up.
Yes. What is it, 5 stars?
5 stars.
All right, guys. So, spoiler alert, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the movie, so if you haven't seen it, that's on you. Don't keep watching. But we're going to get into it. Now, I loved Equalizer 3, but I had some questions. I have some questions, and I have one huge concern. First, huge concern. All filmmakers, come on in, and you're going to listen very closely. When you make a movie, put higher volume.
Oh, true.
That is, I hate it. I hate it. Because when you whisper, when the character in the movie whispers, I should still be able to hear it. I shouldn't have to lean forward to hear what they say or have to guess whatever I think they've said, because now I'm lost. And it's not like it's a big deal, but it is a big deal, because is it the theater or is it the film itself? And I think it's the film. I don't think it's the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
and if you're going to write dialogue, we have to be able to hear it.
Yeah.
When someone turns their head and says something, and it's unintelligible, the viewer suffers. We don't know what was said.
Yeah.
True.
So please, the next time you make a movie, remember that Shera.Shim, Bill Nealon said this, and do it so we can hear. I want to hear everything. If they even make I want to hear it. I want to hear it tiny. I want it to just be loud. That's my one concern. And that's for all movies, not just The Equalizer. So, in the beginning, it's beautiful, because, the guy and his son, they're driving, and you have no idea what's happening. He's walking past these bodies, and you're like, okay, when is Denzel going to show up? And then when he does, he's in the middle of this dungeon thing, cellar, and he's got his watch, of course, handy dandy watch, and he gives him 9 seconds?
Yeah. Well, what the opener is, this old man is with this, apparently his grandson, in this car, and they arrive at this fortress, and they just start encountering dead bodies.
Yeah. Dead
bodies everywhere. Yeah. And this guy, he's obviously the proprietor of the house. You don't know who he is yet, but there's just dead bodies strewn everywhere.
Yeah.
And then when he goes downstairs, sure enough, there's our hero, Denzel.
Now, the thing is, I didn't realize that Denzel was the one who did all the bodies. Right. And then there's a part throughout the movie when the detectives get there, and they're like, there's only one fingerprint. So, yeah, he killed all those people. But from there, the movie takes you on this high and low of, it's like a different case. A different case is going on that somehow Denzel is involved in, but they don't know that it's him just yet. But what I love the most is what is it called? Alamante? The city that he stayed in?
Well, they make it appear as though it is Sicily, but we did a little research. It's actually Atriani, which is on the Amalfi Coast. It's not actually filmed in Sicily. It's the Amalfi Coast and a beautiful town called Atriani, and there's a magnificent cathedral right on the ocean, and there's a hotel right on the ocean, and you can see if you just go on, you Google the location, and it's all coastline, and it's beautifully shot. Yeah, and the city is beautiful. That whole area of Italy makes you want to just go.
Oh, I was thinking that when they spent a bulk of time, because Denzel has to heal from a gunshot wound, and he spends a bulk of time in the city, and it's so beautiful. I think the best part of a movie is when the environment makes you feel like you would like to go and live there, and they have this beautiful coast, and it's gorgeous, especially at night. When the girl who works at the restaurant takes him to eat at the different places.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's beautiful, and it's so peaceful. So I see why Denzel wanted to protect it and then stay there. Good movie. Very, very, very good movie. Did you have any questions? Any things that you didn't really...
Essentially it's, Denzel helps the downtrodden. It's basically based on the mafia. Who take over this town, and they are ruthless. And these are just innocent townspeople in this small town, and they want to pretty much eradicate the people and put up hotels and pure profit-based greed. And Denzel sees some of what's going on and the intimidation and racketeering and what they do to the shop owners and what they do to people. And he likes it there, and he's just not going to stand for it.
Yeah, they did a really good job with the mafia showing how they operate throughout the city. They've got the mayor in their pocket. They've got the head of the police department in their pocket. And, the moment he doesn't like what the police, say, hand gets chopped off and limbs go flying. And, they did a good job with that. Also, they did a great job with the luxury. All the cars, the beautiful cars and speeding down the street, the motorcycles. Really good job on just the environment. If I had to say so and compliment anything, I love the environment and the luxury that they put in it.
It's again, the same director, Antonio Fuqua. He directed the first two, and he and Denzel worked very well together. He also directed Training Day.
Oh, okay.
Which Denzel won the Academy Award for. Okay. But again, we go to movies for escapism. We go for the entertainment. And you are immersed in the film. It's you don't look at your watch. You don't get up and get popcorn. You are immersed in the film, the character, and the atrocities that the mafia do to people to make an example out of just hardworking citizens, and they have no power. Like Shera was saying, the mafia, as always, same here in this country, they're well connected. They have their police in their pocket, the mayor, and they just free will do whatever they want to do, and very difficult to stop. And here's one man, Denzel, the equalizer, but he certainly makes his point. He certainly does.
There's a point where I wanted to just get up and clap, because when he gets the brother and he goes in,
boy.
Yes, because he's such a menace to the society, literally burning down businesses. He's beating people up for, extortion money. And it's just, he's this bratty little kid, it's like 20-something years old, literally running rampant through the city just for fun. Him and his goon squad is terrorizing these wonderful people in this wonderful area. And Denzel, he just couldn't stand for it. And at one point, he asked himself, he's kind of battling with whether he's a good guy or not. And he's a good guy, because I think the bad guy would not want to get involved in whatever is already brewing there, and he would just heal and leave. But Denzel wanted to protect those people, and they're really good people. Why not? Why not?
And he certainly does make a difference. But it's got all the elements you want. It's very gratifying. Good, well spent 2 hours. Again, the scenery alone is magnificent. Gosh, and there's no expense. It's an expensive movie to make, but it's well done, very entertaining. We definitely give it a thumbs up.
Yes. Now, one good question. Do you think Denzel did his own stunts?
He usually does. In fact, I remember when they made the first Equalizer, the stunt choreographer and the fight coordinator both said Denzel really moves well.
Really?
He's very coordinated. He
Wow.
moves very fast. They said he's a pleasure to work with. He learns on the spot, and he's great at contact and physicality. Denzel is an exceptionally athletic guy. In fact, years earlier in his career, he made a movie called Hurricane, which was the movie of Reuben Carter, the middleweight boxer who was unjustly accused of murder. And he fought, and he had all these celebrities fighting for him. He was a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time in Paterson, New Jersey, and he had a life sentence for a triple murder, which he did not commit.
Wow.
And Denzel plays this middleweight boxer, and it shows him fighting, and very realistic. Denzel lost 40 pounds, and he's a very convincing fighter. And they said he probably could have been a middleweight or a light heavyweight if he wanted to. Denzel, very athletic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but he really does embody the person he's playing or the part that he's.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that he did his own stunts. But I mean, to really get someone, I would think you would have to. I don't know how they would, do it, but I don't think he's really stabbing that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure looks like it though.
It sure does, and he moves very fast and wonderful movie. I know we gave away a lot of spoilers, but if you haven't gotten a chance to see it, go see it. Don't let us tell you all the good details. You got to see it for yourself. No matter what we say, it's not as good as hearing us. You got to see it on the screen, on the big screen. Don't watch it at home. Watch it on the big screen, please.
It's made to be watched on the big screen. And there's a lot we didn't tell you.
Yeah.
There's a lot to see we didn't tell you.
Oh, yeah.
So we just gave you the points to make you want to go.
Right.
So go see it.
Right. So now we're going to get into our Curious Mind Maze. And you guys, you know what this game is. You shake this little thing up, and Bill sticks his finger in there and pulls out a question. Now these questions are, there's some deep ones, there's some funny ones, but they're usually kind of hard to answer. So hopefully we don't have 8 deep questions, but we shall see. It all depends on the shake.
And guys, some of you out there may be smarter than us. If you got an answer, email us. Send it in. Sometimes we get stumped. Cha, cha, cha. Okay. And drum roll, please. My partner. Okay. Is knowledge inherently valuable, or does it depend on how it can be used? That's a good question. Is it inherently valuable, or does it depend on how that knowledge is used? It can be used.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know what just popped into my head? Adam and Eve. And because God put a tree in the Garden of Eden, and he said, don't eat from this tree. And, I found out that it's a tree of knowledge, not just an apple tree. And there's a reason he didn't want us to know things, but who comes in the garden? Mr. Devil. And he decides, I'm going to let Eve know some information. And the moment she takes that bite into this apple or learns whatever knowledge she's not supposed to get from that tree, all of a sudden they run and they put clothes on and they hide themselves. And that's why I think knowledge it's how it's used. You can know everything. You can know every single thing in the textbook. You can know everything. But how do you use it? Do you use it as a weapon? Do you use it for good? It's about how you use it.
And if it's shared.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a highly intellectual lady, but if she cannot share that intellect or share that knowledge, what good is it?
Right.
What good is it, right?
But also teachers
Sure.
have I always say, I think teachers should be paid more than all professions, because they teach the doctor how to do his thing. They teach the surgeon how to do the surgery, and it's the teaching part that deserves the big bucks. But it's the knowledge. How does the teacher use this knowledge? She uses it to fill you up with knowledge so that you can go on and fill someone else up. Knowledge there's no point of having knowledge if it's stuck to yourself, if you just keep it to yourself, right? That's like even with you, when you've had your business for a long time. If someone comes to you and say, hey, how did you have your business for so long? Can you give me some tips? And you say, I don't want to give you a tip. That's you holding on to that knowledge. Why? Why would you not want to share it? That helps the other person. I think it's just how you use
it.
Yeah,
very true. Knowledge, if it's not shared, it's meant to be disseminated. That's what knowledge is for.
Yeah, we teach our children. I mean, it's how it's used. And what about the ones who use it negatively?
Yeah, very true. Very true.
So it's how it's used. All right, is it? Oh, your shake. All right. Let me do
Here we go.
Double. Oh, I got two. Okay, this is a good one. Does randomness truly exist, or is everything determined by cause and effect?
I think there's randomness.
Really?
I think there is randomness out there. I think you can walk into the forest and randomly pick something or choose something. That tree or this plant. I think there is randomness in the universe and in the world. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I should agree or disagree. I say both. I say there's a little bit of both. We got to have randomness to then have a little bit of cause and effect.
If there's no choice, that's as she was bringing up and hinting toward. I think, is everything predetermined? And I say no.
No. Well, let's think about it this way. We get older and we go to college and we choose this profession, this career, but that's the randomness of it, because you like to be a doctor, you like to be a vet or whatever it is. But because you chose to be this doctor or vet, now there's a cause and effect going along with the randomness of whatever you chose. So maybe I think it's a little bit of both. You need one for the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree, because once there's choices made, there's consequences.
Yeah.
Or benefits, good and bad, but the randomness, I think, is in the choice. I think we are given, if you believe biblically, if you believe in God, we're given free will.
Yeah.
According to where man is given free will. It's his call. God is not a puppeteer. It's our call as to what we choose, but with that choice, then there are effects.
Yeah, it's like the fork in the road kind of thing. You choose left or right for the fork in the road, and then depending on whichever direction you choose, then the cause and effect goes. The cause goes along with the randomness of choosing left or right. So it's a little bit of both, I think.
Yeah, if there's no randomness in the world, it'd be pretty boring.
Yeah, we just live these boring lives. You're right. Okay, my shake? Yeah, it's my shake.
Yes, your shake, my draw.
Okay. All right, we gotta shake them up. Right.
She enjoys this.
I do. I think it's the sound.
You should see her do a tossed salad. Oh,
gosh.
Okay.
Am I going to faint now? What is it?
Imagine.
Okay.
Now you out there are with us. Play along.
Okay.
You're in a room that's filling up with water quickly. There are no windows or doors. Okay. How do you get out?
How did you get in?
Doesn't say. And where, it also doesn't say, the origin of the water, where the water is coming from to fill the room.
Okay. So imagine you're in a room and water's filling up. There's no windows or doors.
But you raised a great question, which is the fallacy of this question. How did you get in the room? You got in the room somehow. There's an entryway into the room if you're in it.
Yeah, it's like an escape room question. Have you heard about escape rooms?
Mm-hmm.
We got to do them. I think we would win. But anyway, I think this question is voided, because how did you get in there? However you got in there, you've got to get out through however you got in.
And faulty question.
Yeah, how are you getting the water in there? How's the water just filling up? I know it's imaginative question, but it's, there's some fallacy in there, so we're gonna avoid that one out.
Look, let's try another.
Right.
You get a second shake.
Oh, I like second shakes. All the way at the bottom?
All the way at the bottom, from the depths. Out comes.
Let's see.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, gang.
Okay.
If you could go back in time and change one thing in world history, what would it be and how would it impact the world today?
Oh.
If you could go in history and change something, what would it be and how would it impact the world today? That's pretty deep.
Okay. I'm going to go way back. I am going to say I would, no question, I would go back and change slavery.
Bang! I had the same thing in my mind. Folks, sorry for the reaction. The exact same thing was in my brain. I would abolish slavery. I would change slavery and never let it exist in the first place.
Yeah.
Wow. The same thought, guys. Great minds think alike.
We're not so uncommon after all, right?
We're pretty common. But I couldn't have helped that reaction. It's like came out of me like lava. That was the same thought.
I mean, and then
that's
after,
the thing I would change.
That would be the first thing I would change. And then the second thing would obviously be the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the second thing.
Never let Hitler rise to power.
Whoa. But like they say in the movies, you take away, like if you go back in time and then you take Hitler away, there's going to be someone else who just replaces him. Different name, different whatever. But
taking away both of our idea of taking away the concept of slavery, the concept of it, there would be no ripple effect. You would just eliminate a lot of agony. Yeah. Agony, pain, torture, heartache, heartbreak. You would eliminate a lot of the world's problems. And taking away and
generational curses. All that stuff stems and turns into generational curses and all, it's I would just definitely go back and for one, figure out how it really started from where, how, and then try to nip it in the butt right when it started. Maybe it's just someone maybe in the beginning someone compared the skins or the skin tones. I would just nip right there, nip it, because then that festers and it becomes bigger and bigger, and then you have slavery. So I would definitely. That's a great question.
Yes.
And I think most people would probably say that. They would get.
I would hope they would think deeply enough.
Yeah.
That is the change.
Yeah.
That is the change.
Yeah.
We all were created equal. Mm-hmm. Let's help one another. No one should be a slave under any other man. Yeah. No one.
Can you imagine how the world would be?
Exactly.
Oh, I think we'd be so happy. We would be so happy. I just think we would be immensely happy not having that. It would maybe no war,
Just to accept one another at face value.
Yeah.
And embrace the cultures, embrace the differences, and learn from one another.
Mm-hmm. One big melting pot of people just living together in a happy world.
I don't know where the first royalty came from. What made, in ancient history, what made someone a king? And then supposedly they had royal blood and I mean, there were some very inept nobles and kings and, real goofs in the family, but because of the bloodline, they became the king.
Well, from what I've read and heard, the royal bloodlines come from some form of God, some form of God-like being. Like, Hitler thought he was a part of like the Aryan race, which is the Atlantis kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where these royal bloodlines come from, some form of entity or God or something that you descend from.
But I think it was a little propaganda going on.
Well, yeah. Which is?
I would think that the king would be initially the most powerful warrior, and he led the people, whatever. But who's to say what descends from a bloodline and who's better than who or what people? You're all raised in the same village. You're all the same, or raised in that part of the world. You're all very similar.
Yeah.
There's no one better than another, and someone should be underfoot of another. And to see generations of people raised in slavery, and what they call serfs and serfdom, and they never arise out of that. Hundreds of years, they're made to build the pyramids. They're just slave labor all through history.
Yeah.
People oppressing other people.
Man, that was good.
Oof.
That was got you going.
Yeah.
Saw that reaction, guys?
Got my blood up.
I had 2 shakes. There you go. Your shake.
Give me my shake.
I'm trying to steal your shake. I'm sorry.
Steal my shake. One shake at a time.
Okay, one shoulder.
Pretty good shimmy.
Does anybody still do the shimmy?
I don't know. I just saw it.
Well, I'm a little bit old school, so. Whew. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. Have you ever wondered how many times you've passed up an opportunity that could have drastically changed your life? Drastically, that second time was added by me.
Sure. I think we can all, as we look back, missed opportunities. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, sure. Things maybe are the way they're supposed to be. But I think we can all look back at our lives at some point and say, man, I wish I had done that when I was younger. But that's a living, growing process. If everything worked out perfectly, we did everything we were supposed to and grabbed the opportunity when it was there, what experience will we gain? We all wish, but I think maybe those missed opportunities made us wiser. Maybe that's why we appreciate what we have today.
Yeah.
Maybe we made the mistakes we made, and we learn from them. Just don't keep making that same mistake over and over. Mistakes are to be made, but there should be learning experiences learned from them. And missed opportunity, sure. Wish I took that job. But then we don't know how it all would have panned out either.
I was just thinking that I think, and I was also thinking about what my answer would be maybe 10 years ago. And I think we are right where we're supposed to be. There's a reason we didn't take that opportunity. There's a reason we overthought it, or we let it go, or something in our mind didn't want to do that. And I think we have to consider that when we consider the missed opportunity, because there's a reason why you missed it. There's a reason why you didn't do whatever it was. And then to go back and say, oh man, I should have, shoulda, woulda, couldas, we don't know how that could have turned out. You could have taken that job and, on the commute to that job, you got into a car accident or something. You know what I mean? And then you would say, man, I shouldn't have took that job. So it's either way. I think you are just supposed to be where you are. And I think at the end of the day, you've got to come to terms with that and accept those opportunities. Maybe were just not for you.
And there's a quote that's kind of apropos here. If it's for you, it won't pass you by.
Yeah.
And you're right. And maybe we're right where we're supposed to be. Maybe, like you're saying, it wasn't for us, and there's a reason we didn't choose it. I could think of things when I should have acted and I didn't. Again, another learning lesson. And again, maybe we don't know, but all of them are lessons we learn from. I think build character in us. But I really think we're where we are supposed to be.
Yeah, again, if you also maybe missing that opportunity will teach you in the future to accept this opportunity. For me, I wouldn't say I'm a risk taker, but I want to experience different things, great things in my life. So there are opportunities that I will jump at. There are things I will say, yeah, sure. As long as I know what the background of that is and make that, and I have time to think about it, I will try not to miss an opportunity. But if I do, I'm gonna chalk it up to, hey, it just wasn't for me. And there are things that just aren't for you. The opportunity comes up And there's a reason your mind tells you, no, I don't do it. And you've got to just accept that. And I think, thinking about an opportunity that you missed, there's a little bit of regret. And you don't want to regret anything in your life. You want to appreciate everything. You want to go ahead in life and just be happy with the decisions you made. And sometimes a missed opportunity is just that, a missed opportunity.
Very true. Well said. Well said. And sometimes maybe that missed opportunity is for our benefit, so that when that next one comes along, we're ready.
Yeah.
And we're going to prepare, because I should have been ready for when that came along. I wasn't. Now I know what to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means it's prepare. It could be preparing us for what's to come. And maybe we shouldn't have taken that first one.
Right.
And it teaches us maybe to discern a little better what is for us and what isn't for us. But learning experience. And sometimes what we think, and I know, looking back, that thing we really desired wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't as great as we thought when we look back on it.
Yeah. But also going back to what you said, sometimes we aren't ready for that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And now, let's say the opportunity presented itself 5 years ago. And just 5 years ago, you weren't in the environment, the space, or whatever it was, the mind frame to accept the opportunity. And just over time, life and experience has trained you. So now this opportunity comes up again, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. Now I'm for sure.
Now
I know
ready.
I can handle this job. I can take on whatever it is. And sometimes you're just not ready. So to go back and kind of regret, oh man, I missed the opportunity. Maybe you just weren't ready. And that is okay. Sometimes you need to be ready for a particular opportunity, and you don't want to go in there half-ass, half ready, and you don't do a good job. So missed opportunity, don't regret it. Just look at it as something that if it pops up again, I'm taking it.
Shera, it makes me think of us and our encounter. It happened when it was supposed to happen.
Yes.
If you and I had met 10 years ago, we would not have been ready, or at the right stage in our lives. We wouldn't have been ready for one another. Yeah. We might have been cordial and friendly and said hello and had a nice conversation on that 5-hour flight where we met. But at that stage in our lives, we weren't ready for one another. I was old enough, and Shera was old enough, where when we met, we could really appreciate one another's viewpoints and talents, and we saw a solid friendship there right in the beginning. We saw it. And it developed, it matured, and it just grew into the epic friendship it is today. But again, it was the timing was right. The timing was right.
Yeah, and also again, opportunity, because my friend at the time was competing in the competition where Bill was the coach mentor, and she said, "You've got to come with me to this trip." And you're my beautician, but I want you there with me. And I could have said no, and I'll watch you from the sidelines. I'll FaceTime me and let me know how everything goes. And I said, you know what? Let's go. It was right in height of 2020.
Yeah.
And everything was shut down. We had masks on and everything. And I said, you know what? Why not? Everything is shut down. I need a break anyway. I'm just going to go. I'm going to have fun. And whatever happens, happens. And Bill and I just happened to meet and sit next to each other on this 5-hour flight. And just as we're talking right now, we spent the whole flight doing the exact same thing. So if I did not say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get out of my element. I'm going to do something different and take the opportunity, we probably would have never met each other. And
right.
We wouldn't be here today.
Very true. Very true. So, missed opportunities are just that. Like Shera said, they're missed opportunities, and maybe they weren't for you.
Yeah.
So no sense in wasting time and tears over what could have been. Look at your life now and greet each day and do the best you can. That's how we look at it.
Yeah. And we can't go back anyway and change it, so you might as well accept it. All right, my shake, I've been eager. It's my shake.
Your shake. Yeah.
Like I said, it's all about the shake. You have to put a little shimmy. That's where the good questions come from. Jealous of the shake. Cha cha cha.
Cha cha cha. All right. Let's see.
Let's see.
This is one to ponder.
Oh gosh, pondering.
Okay. How Think about this one, guys.
Uh-huh.
How do people ever believe in truths without form of evidence?
Okay. How do people ever believe in truth without form of evidence? Well, that is seen today with social media. If you did not take a photo of it, it did not happen. If I said to you, Bill, I was in the airport and I met Denzel, yeah, well, where's the proof? Where's the photo? You didn't get a chance to take a photo? No, I had my bags. I was hustling to the next place, and he was right there. We shook hands. I don't, how in this world today, everything is on camera, everything's posted, so that's your proof. But I think maybe back in the day, you've got to take the person's word for it. And that is what we lost today, is the word. Is like in New York, growing up, we say word is bond. And it literally is that. Your word is your bond. That's how you believe someone, simply off the word. And then if you broke that word, I don't believe you anymore. But it was the word.
Integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And to read this question again, the word that came to my mind, how do people ever believe in truths without any form of evidence?
Mm-hmm.
As you were speaking, a word came into my mind, and that was faith.
Ooh, good one.
I have faith that, we're going to get more rain at the end of this month. I can't prove it. I have no evidence of that. But I believe we'll get more rain. I have faith in things. I have faith in the basic nature of people. I have faith in my abilities. I don't know if I can do that, but I believe I can. I have faith in you, my friend. I know how she's going to do. I know what her behavior's like. I know how she'll handle things. I know she won't let me down if I depend on her. I don't need evidence. I've got all the evidence I need in my faith in her. I have faith in the sun coming up tomorrow. Right. I don't need, evidence. That's the doubting Thomas that has to prove everything to me. And you know what? That backfires in this world too, because you've got deep fakes. You've got people pulling the hood over everyone's eyes. And the news in this world, it's tough to believe what you think is the evidence. Yeah. So a lot of times you got to go with your heart and with your faith, because not everything we see is true. And
again, going back to social media, there's this big thing about people posting all the great things of their life, but never posting the bad. So, you believe by account of their post that their life is great. And they're living the best life ever. And come to find out, they're depressed. The suicide rate is up. A lot of people are living above their means to try to post these things to make it look like, they have money or they're doing well, and they're not. And sometimes the evidence doesn't match what the real life is. So yeah, it does make sense to have faith. For me, I don't live beyond my means. I don't need to post everything. It's all about just, I think, for who you are. If I know you to be a good person, I'm going to believe whatever it is you tell me until you give me a reason not to. Until then, like you said, faith in your word. And if you've kept your word the first time, and I'm a very literal person, so you tell me that you're going to be here tomorrow at 3, I'm expecting you tomorrow at 3. And if you keep your word, I have no other choice but to believe you.
And integrity has no need for rules.
Yeah.
And if you keep your word and expect that of others, you don't always need the proof. You don't always need the evidence, because evidence can fool us. We can be fooled by evidence, and we can be made to believe, or it can be written or shown in photos, and that person wasn't even there.
Right.
So that can belie things. That could fool us or trick us. So, that term when we, sometimes Shera and I kind of revert to, go with your gut.
Yeah.
Go with what you think is right.
Yeah.
Go with what you think is right. And sometimes what other people tell you, or when they go to prove something to you, there might be an agenda there.
Yeah.
Shera has often told me, well, Bill, look at it this way. Let's break it down and look at it this way. And I'm saying, yeah, but the evidence, and Shera might back me up and say, hold on now, Bill. let's break it down and look at it this way. Let's really look at it. Right. And that's faith. That's going by your gut and what you really believe. And belief is important.
Yeah.
Belief is important. If all you're going is by, well, prove to me the earth is round. Prove,
no.
You have to have faith. Faith is important.
Yeah, and I'm a read between the lines person, and someone told me before, I listen very, very, very hard, and it just means I read between the lines. And sometimes with discernment, I'm able to figure out if there is truth in whatever you're saying or not. Or sometimes it's a feeling, sometimes it's And in Jamaica, like you said, follow your gut. We say follow your first mind, which means follow your first thought. If a person's talking to you and all of a sudden it pops into your head, it doesn't seem true. Maybe it's not. In your gut, it's like a sixth or seventh sense, So always follow your gut, and it'll lead you to the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God gave us instincts and skills. Use them. Mm-hmm. Use them, because what you see before your eyes might not always be true.
True. Now it's your shake. I'm always trying to steal your shakes. If I had to rate that shake, it'd be a 4. Give me a 10. Oh, it's looking like 11. I like it. Good way. Oh, shimmy. See, now I'm going to get a good question. I know. Oh, small ones. Good shake. No. Okay. Oh, why'd you shake like that? What?
I got to answer. You just have to ask.
What are dreams?
Ooh.
Your fault for shaking an 11.
I think.
Okay.
We have our conscious mind that we deal with things every day. Our responsibilities, our jobs, our loved ones, gas for the car. I think our dreams are when the conscious mind is dormant, the subconscious comes to life, and all that's suppressed, that's by the lion's share of our mind, is taken up by the activities we need to do to survive. Yeah. When that part of the brain, when that portion is dormant and we're sleeping, and that's shut off, that's where the subconscious comes alive and allows us to dream. The things that may be troubling us that we're suppressing, or people we think about or maybe haven't thought about because we've got these worries or responsibilities or pressures with the job. So those things are suppressed. They're kind of hidden and concealed. But when that's at rest, it's just my take on it, when it's at rest, that subconscious comes alive. And I think that's just an important part of the brain as others. Shera and I have tossed this about before in our years together. And sometimes that subconscious can open up things that have been troubling us and things that we've had suppressed anxiety about, finally get some freedom to, and sometimes you can actually, in a disguised, indirect way, solve a problem from what a dream shows you. Yeah,
I think it's a combination of thoughts, memories. It's also like another dimension. I don't think it's any one thing. I think it's a combination of everything. Like Bill said, the subconscious, also your waking, your waking state. I think it's memories from a past you, because again, your brain controls what you dream about and when you dream. Sometimes you go to bed and there's nothing. You dream about nothing. You just sleep. And then other days you have these really horrible nightmares, and then you have these other great dreams. And you have dreams you remember vividly. I mean, because there's so many avenues in a dream, I think it's a combination of everything. Our feelings, the love we have for each other, the memories, the thoughts we have throughout the day. They somehow, when we fall asleep, they mix and like this shake jar and shake them up, and boom, you pick a dream out of out of your brain, and it just happens. And again, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason to what you dream about. You could be dreaming about that you're in Alaska and you've never been to Alaska. You're dreaming that you're in somebody else's body, or you're doing something you never did before, or you're falling off of a cliff. I mean, it's just so random and then so personal at the same time that I think it's just a combination of absolutely everything that you can think of.
It does help you appreciate how intricate and diverse the brain is. Yeah. It's said, I don't know, what is it, Shera, that we only use about 10% of our brain or something like that. So when that subconscious comes alive, and I've told Shera, I've had dreams where I have someone from the 5th grade in my dream, my 5th grade. And I wasn't even friends with this guy. He was just a classmate. I haven't thought about him in 60 years. But he is in my dream, and he's just like I remember him in 5th grade. And he wasn't a friend. He wasn't. I have people in my dream, Shera, that I don't know.
There's a show on Netflix called The Sandman. It's such a good series. I watched it in 2 days, and it's Mr. Sandman, what is it? Bring me a drink.
Right.
And I love that song. And he's the main character is a Sandman, and somehow someone dies in the dream, and they found a way to trap the Sandman in this like impenetrable thing, and he can't get out. So for like 100 years, dreams are going crazy, rampant, because he's not there to control them, and it's such a good series because they really dive into the different types of dreams and how he is able to control. There's death in dreams. There's people that die in their sleep. You know what I mean? There's people who have horrible nightmares, their heart's thumping, beating hard, and they pass away. I mean, there's so many different categories and then subcategories in dreams that I don't think there's any one definition or answer to what are dreams. We just don't know. We just have no idea what they are. And like I said, it's another dimension. Again, I've had dreams where you wake up and you thought you were there. You thought you were there. You wake up, you got goosebumps, or you're scared. It's another dimension to me because you feel like you're physically there. And in the dream, sometimes you don't even know you're dreaming. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's a hard one. Very deep philosophical question. I think any answer works for that, honestly.
I think it's difficult for anyone really to explain too, because each one of us is different. And each one of our minds interprets things that are in our life a different way. So I don't think anybody can really put their thumb on categorizing dreams, because they're as different as each one of us are different. Yeah. We just have to appreciate them and know that they're real, and we can't understand them, but just we have to deal with them as they are. Sometimes they do make sense, and sometimes we realize there's something bigger that's bothering us. Yeah. And it came out in the dream, but it's been troubling us.
Yeah, or messages in your dream, just like spiritual things. There's no one answer. There's no one complete definition. And I think if there is a complete definition, it would be like 8 sentences long, because you wouldn't be able to really put a stamp on it and say, okay, this is exactly what it means, especially if we only use 10% of our brain. What happens with the other 90?
Exactly.
What are we going to fly or something? Like when we know when we use the other part of our brain, the 90% that we're not using, then where's the 90% that we're not using? Where's that part? Right. And how does dreams play a part in that part?
And how do you explain this undeniable feeling you have for something, that you must do this? It eats away at you. You try to explain it to your friend, and they don't. But you got to go there. Yeah. You've got to do this thing. It's compelling. It's a compulsion. I don't care, Jim or Mike, but I've got to, and it's within you, and only you know that, and it's peculiar to you, in particular, only to you. But in your heart, it's so deeply ingrained. Yeah. I've got to go do this thing.
I think a better question would be, what is the brain? Mm-hmm. for one, the brain named itself simply because the person, whoever coined the name, the brain, it's the brain naming itself. But also, it controls every single thing in your body. You know, those deja vus, those five senses, even though I think there's more than five senses. All of those things, the brain is controlling, like, you know, like a puppeteer. What is the brain? And again, we have a definition of that, but how does it controls everything? Like for me, I remember thinking, I was watching this television program where a person, they were fine, everything was okay with them. They got into a car accident, and their brain could not connect to the spine, so they couldn't walk. And it's you know, when your wires get crossed or something, all of a sudden it can't function some part of your body.
Yes,
you know what I mean? I think that is the better part of the question is, what is the brain? Because the brain controls dreaming. It controls your limbs, your body, your breathing. You know what I mean? It shuts down parts of your body that like if you're stranded in the desert or something, it shuts down the part that it doesn't need, or it knows that you don't need water for 3 days, or it knows how to function and heal itself. There's so many parts that the brain just has his little hands in, that it would be hard to answer that.
Yeah, thank God we do understand some things, though.
Yeah.
With all the research, like schizophrenia and
yeah.
paranoia. At least we understand those parts of the brain and how detrimental they are, and a person that's suffering from that, or disillusionment, or how about simply intuition?
Yeah.
Who can define and explain what it is in the brain that gives us intuition, that feeling about, hey, don't go there?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's not go there. That one person in the group is saying, no, they have this foreboding fear, we shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
And everyone else doesn't.
Yeah.
And they're right. They're usually, you, Shera, have come, your instincts are always good. When she gets a feeling for something, it's almost always on the money. And she relies on that intuition, that instinct.
Yeah. That's one of, if I gotta make a decision and my mind says go with that, I'm going with that. No regrets, no nothing, because it controls you. That little conscious, and the conscience. Thinking about that, your brain is also your conscience. That's what's telling you, don't do that, don't go there. Where does that come from?
And even your conscience, and also your confidence.
Ooh,
I can do that. Yeah. Yes, I can.
How do you know? You never did it.
Listen, Bill, you've never. I know it. Today, I can do it. How does the brain all of a sudden take charge and command you and say, I can do it today? Bill, you failed 4 times. You've never been able to. Watch me today.
I got it today.
And you do.
Yeah. You know, going back to your schizophrenia comment, I was thinking about not necessarily like the ins and outs of schizophrenia, but you know how some people, like I'll speak for myself. There are I would say there are like 4 Sheras, right? And I use them for different experiences in life. There's a business Shera. There's a Shera that is very like, I have Sheras for different instances, and they get called upon to do certain things. And I think everyone has that ability to be able to call upon the different parts of us. Where does that come from? You know what I mean? That's why I say that the better part of the question that we should ask is, what is the brain? Because there's so many nuances and little things that we don't even realize that the brain has a part in. And for us to be equipped with that from the day we are born all the way out until we die, how does the brain even function? How does this manage our life? It's managing who we are, our lives, what we do, how we make decisions. That is that little thing in your head. What is that? How did that come to be?
Well, one thing I think might shed a little bit of light on that. I think that's determined a lot by the person's life and experience. If you're a child and you grow up on a farm in Argentina and you raise cows and that's all you've done all your life, you're not going to have quite the coping skills or discernment abilities, and that someone who had tremendous tragedies and confrontations in their life, that has had much more world experience where the brain is exercised and utilized than the boy who's just raised cows in the pasture all his life. The brain hasn't had the stimulation to be expanded like someone who's maybe from a war-torn country and has seen imprisonment, has seen towns burned down, has seen terrible injustices, and has seen salvation, or has seen, we are the sum of our experiences, but our brain absorbs everything. But if it's in an environment where there's very little action or experience going on, the brain can't develop to cope with things that it's never endured, I think.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm really more focused on is the things that we don't control. You know what I mean? The things that we don't control. Again, the conscience, that little voice, even as a kid, don't touch that. Don't do that. Don't go over there. When a kid gets lost in the mall, if you taught this kid where to go to and what measures to take, they still have to think on their own. That little voice, the conscience in them, is telling them to do something and to remember something, to get help. It's just those little things: the dream, the conscience. What else? The healing of your body itself. That also comes with the brain, not just the body itself. The mind frame to know this is going to heal. You know what I mean? Those little involuntary things, the brain controls all of that.
Right. And there are those who have an injury and they choose to just lay there and bleed out, or those that realize, I've got to get some help.
Yeah.
I've got to get help right now. That instinct. And, I don't know how well developed, or the variances in instincts with people.
Yeah.
Do some have a stronger instinct than others? And why?
Yeah. Well, we can try to dissect this as much as possible, but I don't think we're ever going to really know the answer. So thank you guys for tuning in to this intricate episode of Curious Mind Maze. And like we said before, please, we would love to hear your answers to these questions. And we also want to know if you guys have any questions of your own. So if you do, put them in the comment box below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode of A Dose of Uncommon. Guys, don't forget to stay uncommon. We don't want commonness around here. We want uncommon. We want to see what your personalities are. Be yourself, love yourself, and do not conform for anyone. So we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.